What's going on, everybody? Welcome,
Hello,
welcome, welcome,
hello.
welcome to the first edition of the Savage Corner. Finally
Yep,
coming to life.
finally.
This is exciting, exciting.
We're super excited about this. And Mr. West, I love you very much. And I could
Well,
not think of a better person to do this with.
yeah, yeah. I'm excited. You're excited. We're gonna dive right into our first episode. So typically we're gonna be doing just all sorts of life, especially as adults, whether it be dating, relationships, healing. We'll have all sorts of people, guests. Like it's gonna be a huge extravaganza. So I'm glad everybody is tuning in to the first ever Savage Corner. Episode
Thanks,
one.
guys.
Who
Episode
are we?
one. Who are
Who are
we?
we? So I figured in this first episode, most of you guys know my social media. You know me as the Bearded Savage One. My real name is Wesley Pearson, of course, as you can see. Some of you may or may not know that. And then, of course, my co-host, the lovely Summer Dean, which happens to be her actual.
Hello.
So
That's
she
that's my
did the easy
actual
way.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
I'm
did the
not as
easy way, the
cool
right
as you
way.
are, baby, with your
No,
savage
I
name.
wish now that I just would have done something with my original name, because then people could actually identify me. But it is what it is. So hopefully I can keep the beard and I won't be the not so bearded savage one.
Oh, you're keeping the beard, babe. The beard's
I
mine.
hear you. No, it's yours. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hmm.
I thought it was on my face, but so what we're gonna do today what we're going to do today for this episode, is that she has questions that I haven't seen or heard, and I have questions that she hasn't seen nor heard. And we're going to ask each other these questions to get you guys to get to know us a little better. So we're going to give ladies first.
Okay, here it goes. I have two dogs in my lap, so I talk to them a lot, just warning everyone. Um, Now, where did you grow up and did that affect who you became?
Oof. Going straight for the jugular already, right?
All the way, honey. You know I ain't here to play games. I quit
All
kindergarten
right. So,
because they had
so
recess. Let's go.
So my father was in the Air Force. So I was born actually in Biloxi, Mississippi, but we moved to Hampton, Virginia, very quickly when I was very young. So that's where I spend most of my life. And yeah, it did greatly affect the person of who I am. I went through lots of trials and tribulations. I lost my mother at an early age, and I just it was a tough area. I did a lot of
Mm.
things and went through a lot of things that kind of wish it didn't go through, but I understand that it made me who I am today.
Yeah.
So, but literally my mother passed away. I had two friends murdered at the age of 19 within a 6-month period. And I tossed two duffel bags full of clothes into the back of a Dodge Neon and I came to Richmond. So Richmond's where I've been for, 20, 26 years now. So I've been here for quite some
Wow.
time too. So yeah, yeah, it's home for now. But yeah, my upbringing was tough. I mean, it was a rough area, a lot of gang activity,
He's a
drugs, of
gangster,
course.
guys. He's a gangster.
Yeah, I did some unspeakable things. I don't
Mhm.
have a record. That's one good thing. Just got away with
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. But yeah, no, I grew up in a tough area. Anybody from Hampton pretty much knows who I am, because there's a big ordeal there. But hey, it made me who I am today. So yeah,
That's right.
definitely.
That's right. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna flip that question back on you so people know where you come from, where your grassroots are. So where exactly are you from, and how did it shape you to the person that you are right now?
I am from Houston, Texas. Well, a little town out of Houston, Texas. I grew up in New Caney, Texas. Um, but we, I raised animals. Um, I played cowgirl. I I'm an artist. Um, I played song. I did all the normal things as kids grow up. I was just different from everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. Why would you say you're
So
different?
Yeah. What do you mean? What? What'd you say? I'm
You
different
said
now? I'm different from
you were
everybody else
well,
now?
you were just different from everybody else, and what do you think that would make you different from everybody else?
I just didn't think the same way as everybody else thought. Like, I was from a small town, like, their mentality was very small, and I just didn't think that anything it just wasn't right or
Yeah,
fair.
yeah,
So, I was a tomboy. I wanted to go play out in the woods with the boys. I didn't wanna go
yeah,
do what the girls were doing.
yeah.
So,
No, you
yeah.
always were against the grain, so to speak.
And I don't even mean to be. I'm just like, I'm not doing that. That's no.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So, yep.
can I tell them the story about Christmas when we pulled up in the driveway?
Oh, absolutely.
So, this is the truth. So I went to her house for Christmas this year. We're pulling into the driveway of the house where all her family is, and there are, I think, 6 or 7 vehicles that are there. 5 at the most, but I think somewhere around there. But anyways, all of the vehicles in the driveway were gleaming white. They were all
Mhm.
pure white vehicles, very clean, very uniformed, and she drives a red car.
Phew. He's like, "Can I state the obvious?" I was like, "Yeah, you can go ahead and state the obvious." I mean, like,
Always the one that stood out.
always,
It's one of the reasons
always.
why I love you. So,
I know, baby, I know.
yep,
Okay, your turn. Oh, no,
my
it's my
turn.
turn again, huh?
Oh yeah, no,
Oh,
because I asked you where you were from. Uh-oh.
okay.
That's the next song.
Why are you passionate about what you do?
Ooh. Um, so I went through a divorce, and then was thrusted into single parenthood, which was really, really tough. And when I went through my divorce, I also went through a divorce of friends and family members. And
Go ahead,
the
sorry.
yeah, that's okay. The divorce itself, was hard enough for me to do or to deal with. And then I had, a lack of friends, a lack of stable support, a lack of people to talk to. I had no outlet. I had no place to go. So I went to the internet, and of course, I started watching videos on, how to heal myself and dating. There's so many questions to ask and so many things I didn't know how to do anymore. And it was absolutely nuts. I felt alone. I felt like there's nobody
Mhm,
there for me. And I don't want people to feel like that. So the point or purpose of my content, the stuff that I post, it's not to make people feel good or feel bad or, feel any sort of way. I just want people in the comments showing other people that they're not alone. And that's all I want is for people to realize they're not alone in their struggles. And I guarantee you somebody else has been through it. You know what I mean? But that's the ultimate goal.
I love that, and it's only because that's what I wanted. That's the only thing I wanted is for other women not to know that they are not alone and that they
Yeah.
are not crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things. Oh, I hate that. Matter of fact, just recently here, I had a friend, at work, female, and, she had went off on a tangent about something, and one of the other guys came in and said, "You're crazy." I lost my shit. Like I was so upset. I was like, "Who do you think you are? You don't call her crazy." Like for some reason, it triggered me to hear a man call a woman crazy for the way she felt. And I was like,
Mhm.
"Damn it, I've come full circle. Like, I can't believe that I lost
Yeah.
my shit for somebody else."
Yeah.
And she thanked me for it, but it just yeah. So I mean, I know I went off on a little tangent there, but yeah, I cannot stand it
It's okay.
when a man calls a woman crazy, because usually 9 times out of 10 they're just expressing their feelings, and it's fucked up for a man to sit there and think that, or call her crazy. So all right, off my soapbox.
Hey.
All right, so I get to ask you a question now, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Let's
Let's do
see if I
this.
have a
Now that
good
the
one.
dogs have went out, sorry about that.
All
State
right,
your cause.
so What? All right, so let's do this one. If you could go back in the day, get in your DeLorean time machine and go back to the
Uh-huh.
future,
Mhm.
and you ran up on your 18-year-old self, what advice are you giving yourself?
Woo! Don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself. We give up so much whenever we do start to have families and stuff like that. Like I can remember the day that I found out I was pregnant, taking all my piercings out because I thought that that was what moms were supposed to do.
Mm,
You know
wow.
what I mean? Like my mom said, it's time for you to grow up. You're pregnant,
Oh,
and I
wow.
was just like, yeah. I was like, what? This is. And then that, and I did it, and then I got married. You know what I mean? Because that's what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mm,
there we go.
wow. Yeah. I know.
What
I mean,
about
I
you?
agree with you. Yeah. I think we all lose ourselves at some point in time.
Yeah.
Especially eh, the biggest thing is like I hear a lot of people, especially at our age brackets, people DM me all the time or in the comment section. And one of the things that I hear constantly is, I want somebody without any kind of trauma or any kind of past. You're crazy. Like, we all go through
Yeah.
shit, you know what I mean? I mean, we all
Yeah.
go through shit. Your best bet is to find somebody that you wanna handle life with, because there's gonna be some kind of thing that you may have to walk through with them through, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, the we all get to a point where we just absolutely lose who we were, and I can
Uh-huh.
just I think back to, when I was a single parent, both my kids were sitting there in front of me, super emotional, just going through everything in my head. And I looked my kids straight in the face and I apologized to them. And they didn't understand why I was apologizing. I said, you guys are, I think they were 8 and 13 at the time. And I'm like, and you don't even know who I am. You've never met me before, because
Yeah.
I haven't been myself their entire
Yeah.
life. I had not been myself, so I just thought
My
that,
kids were the same way.
yeah.
I mean, both my boys were the same way.
Hmm.
So, they had
Yeah.
this mom that was very had the mom haircut, dressed like the mom, did everything like the mom, and then I start to realize probably when I was in my late 30s, like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's exhausting for me. I'm done. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Whose turn? Whose turn?
It's your turn to ask a question. Your turn to ask the question.
Okay.
Or is Poppy Love going to ask the question?
Yeah, Bobby Love's totally taken over my spot. She's a very good she's the backup. Who is the most influential person in your life and how did they impact you?
Oof. So, of course, the first thing everybody wants to say is my mom, my dad. That's what most people go through, at least. And
Mhm.
I do want to say that, like, my mother had a huge impact on my life, but it was so short. She passed away when I was 19. So for me to just say her is not fair, because people had impact on my life after she passed away. And before she passed away too. So I would have to say I'm going to use, a couple of people as one, if that's okay. Um,
Yeah.
my father was Air Force. He was a pilot. So he was constantly gone. Not that he was a bad parent, he was a great parent. But being that his job, required him to be gone for multiple months at a time, I was mainly
Mhm.
raised by my mother, my sister, my grandmother, and one of my mother's best friends, which her name was Cora. She was with us, she lived across the street from us when we lived off base, and when we lived on base, she lived next door to us. So
Mhm.
those four women, fiercely independent in their very own ways, from way different backgrounds, as who raised me. And that's why, I mean, you can start to hear that's why I do what I do and the things that I say and how I am, is because I
This
was raised by four.
this is why he does what he does, guys, just so we know. It's because of those poor women,
Yeah, those four women are
obviously.
able to my life. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
So my turn to ask a
Okay.
question. Is that what we're doing now?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So you go out tomorrow and you play the lottery and you win $10 million. Where are you spending it? What are you doing with it?
I'm giving it away. I mean, not all of it. Like, I would get myself squared away and my family, and then I would give the rest away. Like, I would help women that, and also dads that do this stuff on a daily, and they do it alone and they're good at it. Do you know what I mean? So good people,
Yeah.
good parents that are just trying to make it, and they sometimes they just need a little extra help. So I would totally just, pay all their bills for a couple of months, or, help a mom with groceries whenever I could, and just try to give back what people gave to us.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So,
I'm totally with that. Yeah. I would be the same way if I had that kind of money. There
yeah.
would be some happy people in this world, I can tell you that much.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course,
Yeah.
I'd take care of my family, make sure we're set up. But
I would
I'd love to
I
have
would
that
buy a
kind
beach house.
of income. Always been a beach girl.
Always. Always, always.
Mm. Yeah,
Okay, is it
yeah,
my turn?
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's your turn to ask the question if you wanna go dive into it.
What's one of your biggest challenges in life?
Like one of the challenges I went through?
Mhm.
Yeah.
One of your
So
biggest
it
challenges.
yeah, so it's definitely, divorce, um, would be the blanket answer. That was a huge challenge for me, and that led into single parenthood. So those 2 things were just I mean, it was eye-opening to me. I wasn't we weren't doing well, so I knew a divorce was coming, don't get me wrong. But
Mhm.
I did not expect the single father part. That was the part that I was like, "Oh, shit. Like, how do I do this? Like, what do I do?" I was always
Yeah.
the guy working my ass off. So I didn't have a whole lot of it's gonna sound stupid, but I didn't have a whole lot of idea of how the home life worked. And not that I didn't do anything around the house, it's just I wasn't doing it all alone, I can tell you that much. So it was hard, doing everything at home, working a full-time job. At the time, my son was in, high school. I mean, I'm sorry, my son was in football. I was a
Mhm.
coach. And there were days that I'd leave the house at 6:30 in the morning. I wouldn't get home till 9:30 at night. And then I had to do dinner, schoolwork, all that other stuff.
Mhm.
It was just super, super, super tough. I had my daughter at the time. And of course, a lot of people say, oh, well, the daughter can chip in. But my biggest goal through this was to make sure that I tried to make sure that she didn't feel like mom.
Yeah.
And that was really, really hard to do in situations, especially because it was during COVID. So
Yeah.
my kids were learning from home. They didn't go to school. you know.
Yeah.
So she was here all day while I was a central worker, so I had to work.
Mhm.
To make money and everything else. So it was hard. So I would say, yeah, being divorced and single parenting were the biggest, things in my life that shook me to my core.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that was a good
Okay.
question.
That was a good
Good
question.
question.
Thanks. I mean, that's what I
Good
do.
question. Good question.
Thanks, baby.
All right. So I know about you because we're, of course, together. Fans don't know about you, though. So you've been a lot of different places because your ex husband was in the military.
Uh-huh.
So tell me your most favorite place that you lived and why.
Hawaii. I had a very a spiritual awakening in Hawaii, and found myself again, and um started painting again, and just haven't stopped since then.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite,
What's your favorite
and the most
as
memories with the babies. Yeah, definitely.
well? Good. I mean, I can only
Yeah.
imagine. I've never been to Hawaii, never traveled there. So
Oh, babe, we're gonna go. Don't you worry. We're gonna
what was,
go.
tell me like a place in Hawaii that you remember going to that you loved the most.
Oh my goodness. We had, there's a Dillingham Airport. There's a beach across, and we called it Swimming Pool Beach. Um, and There would be sometimes really big waves, sometimes it was really calm. We never knew what was gonna go on there until we got there, but it had big sands and the kids would build slides and we would have huge cookouts with all of our military families, and everybody would bring their tents and, um, just swim and have fun and spend quality time together. You know, you didn't have your phones out there because, well, we had all replaced 3 already. So we all just, put our phones away and our animals were there and our kids were there and you were running around in a two-piece, which is my favorite thing to do, and barefooted. And it was just me and it suited me well. And my kids were outside babies. So yeah, my favorite.
There you go.
What
Hawaii. I mean,
Wait,
of
what was
course,
your favorite
I
place? Like when you were
I didn't travel. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
mean, I literally so my family traveled quite a bit. Matter of fact, my brother was born in the Philippines, Germany,
yeah.
anywhere else, a normal Air Force family would travel. But you know, by the time that I was born, my mother was raising 3 kids, and she was like, "I'm not traveling anymore.
Yeah.
You go do you, and we'll be here when you get back." So we didn't travel a whole lot, but I mean, I do love Richmond. I really do. Anybody that follows me has seen, the river, in my videos, and that is my place of peace. Like, it really
Mhm.
is. There were sections that, I would record
It's
from, and throughout my life, there was places where I would bring people to say, "Hey, oh, look how this place is beautiful, right?" But I had one little place on that river that I never took anybody because it was my place, and I did not want
Mhm.
that place to become about somebody else. And of course, I have recently
now
taken
it's
there. So
now it's one of my
I
favorite
messed that
places too. So, if I ever tell you I wanna go to our place and you say your place, Imma punch you in the throat.
But the view from that section of the river is just it's outstanding. I
Oh,
mean,
it is.
the sound of the water and it brings you such clarity.
Y'all,
It
there's, like, these rocks that you can just walk out on, and, like, the sun is shining on them, and I just lay down. Like, it's amazing. And the river is rushing, and you can hear it, and it's like, you could feel oh, it's amazing. Okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
the James River through Richmond, and there's just some beautiful places. Remember we went to, Hollywood Cemetery, and we
Yeah,
took you where the
that was cool.
residents were. That overlook of the river is just
I saw
breathtaking.
baby beavers.
Baby beavers.
Baby beavers.
Yeah. So now I don't remember. Is it my turn or your turn? I'm completely lost now.
Oh, we went, I think I just asked you. No, you asked
Okay.
me, and then I asked you back. So,
Kinda my turn.
kinda your turn a little bit.
Kinda my
You can
turn.
go ahead and go.
Okay.
You can go.
So, for y'all that don't know, and she's said it once or twice, but she's a very, very talented artist. I mean, just beautiful artwork.
Thanks, baby.
And the stuff that she comes up with in her head and the way she puts it on canvas is just unreal. So, can you tell the audience why? What inspired you to do this? When did you start? Just kind of explain the art to us a little bit.
My great-grandmother was a painter, my mother was a painter. My great-grandmother started kinda letting me paint with her when I was 3. Like, let me draw, let me paint, let me do whatever. She just kinda taught me, and then I lost her at 14 and, continued on, um, continued to paint and studied through college, did all that stuff, quit whenever I got pregnant. I still painted here and there, but, I didn't do it like I should have been, and then when I got to Hawaii, I just kind of exploded, and I had so many paintings that I needed to get out, like, so and I haven't stopped painting since then.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So
so,
then
yeah.
so this is cool. So we're on this show trying to get y'all to know us better, and I just learned something I didn't know. So I lost my grandfather at the age of 14. I didn't know you had
Oh,
lost your
wow. I did not know
grandfather.
that, baby.
Yeah, yeah. And he was a
Okay.
big influence in my life too. Like, so he actually, you guys know I love quotes. That's what I do
Is that the
in my
one that did quotes, baby?
well, he didn't do lots of quotes, but there were for some reason, two people that were hugely influenced in my life were my grandfather and then also Miss Cora, which was my mom's best friends. And they would always, if you go to them with a problem, they would kick out a quote. They were like Hallmark cards walking around. And
You have said
my
that about
my
Big Mama
favorite
before, though.
right, and the two quotes that I live and die by is from my grandfather. The quote was, I'll make sure I'm right. Your life's most regrets are the chances you don't take. Okay, so whenever I was challenged with something or something came about in my life, I would say, that, hey, look, I'm going to regret this if I don't try it. I'm
Yeah.
going to spend the rest of my life regretting if I don't try this. So, and then Miss Cora, Big Mama was what I called her. She she said, "What you tolerate is what you validate," and that's a huge one for me.
Yeah.
So I've said it a few times in my quotes, but yeah, it's amazing that I ended up doing what I was doing, and I didn't even realize that I was influenced by quotes as well too. So that's cool. Like I said, I didn't know we lost our grandparents at the same age.
Yeah.
That's
That's
wild.
crazy.
I did not know that
Yeah.
at all. So we're gonna do closing questions now.
Okay.
So mind
Okay.
if I go first, or you want yours first, or
No, go ahead. Go
okay.
ahead.
So books, 3 books that you would recommend to the listeners, and why?
Well, and just because Wes and I just finished this book and it's Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights, I'm always listening to Audible books, like self-help, and those things are like right up my alley because I feel like that in order to help people that I should be educated. Like I need to listen and I need to learn and I need to do all of this. So I will say Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. The other one is it's called Warrior Goddess, and they have like a whole I know whenever Corey and I first split up and I was going through all of like I was grieving like that like my whole life was changing and I didn't know it was more and I missed the comfort of him being, there. And then I'd never been alone because I was with my parents and then I was married to him for 20 years and I'd never been on my own. So, but the warrior goddess, that whole there's like a whole series and I often do warrior goddess like workshops with women too because like we just kind of get together and talk about the book and do that stuff. So that's fun to do. And then the other one was you suggested is unfuck yourself, and that has probably been. I'm actually listening to the next one. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head, but it's kind of like a sequel to unfuck yourself. So I love that one too. And what about you?
Um, the to definitely unfuck yourself. I mean, I hate the title of
I mean,
that
I
book.
do too, but
But I mean, it's probably the rawest book I have ever read or heard in my entire life.
did I tell you this girl like always like put these things in her little notes and like on her page she's always talking about depression and she needs somebody to talk to her and stuff like that. Well, I commented on one of her things. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to send you a book." It really helped me with kind of looking at depression a different way. And I sent her Unfuck Yourself. She blocked me. I didn't
I
even
mean,
think
because
about it. You know what
it's
I
an
mean?
offensive title,
Oh,
but
I
I'll tell you,
know.
though, hands down, the best book that you need to pick up if you're dealing with anything as far as depression is
Absolutely.
concerned, or negative thinking, or just people
Oh,
pleasing. Like I don't care what it is, this book will, very, very will help you a whole lot. Read it
Like,
through. I've
rip
read
it,
it
like,
probably.
snatch it out of you and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It will shake you to your core if you read it and comprehend it. Definitely.
yeah.
Attached is another one.
Oh, I
Attached. I've
do
read.
love that one
Yeah.
too.
Attached, I've read several times, and it's just it's about attachment disorders, and it'll help you identify which attachment style you are, and it'll teach you about other people's attachment styles too. So that way, when you get into a relationship, understand if you're in your 30s or 40s dating, you're gonna run into somebody that has an attachment issue,
Oh my
and it may
goodness
be different
gracious.
ones. You know what I mean? But
Just
you're gonna want to
makes
know how to.
everything you know what that made me realize is that it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It really wasn't me. It was the attachment style that I had did not go with the other one that I was attracted to.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's kind of like
Yeah,
that. One of my favorite quotes is, "You were an open book, but he was illiterate."
yeah,
And that's the thing is that people refuse to. If you're in a relationship, understand that like that is the most important thing to you, right?
yeah,
Educate yourself. Think about it. Take it into consideration. You would not go jumping into something without knowing everything that you're supposed to know. All right, but for some reason, everybody goes into a relationship and they don't work at it. Like it takes
yeah,
work.
it
It takes
does.
work, period. It's easy. And then the last book, a little bit smaller author, you may or may not be able to find it, but it's called Panic. It was by Dr. Canoodle. And it was about panic disorder or anxiety. And he does a fantastic job of explaining what it actually is. Because it's not what you think it is. But that's another
Okay,
good
so
book
do
as well.
you have that book? Because I wanna read it.
I'd have to see if I still have a copy of it. If not, I have to see if it's
Okay.
still online. He's no longer practicing medicine at all. So I don't know if the book is still out. I mean, pretty sure it would be. But it's called Panic,
Yeah.
and it's written by Dr. Canoodle. So those are my
Hold
books,
on.
definitely.
I'm looking it up right now on,
See if you can pull it up and
okay.
find it.
Yeah, on Audible because I like to drive and listen to books, like, that's my favorite
Yeah,
thing to
yeah.
do in the world.
So what he did
So
with the book was he went through and explained different scenarios to help you
Uh-huh,
identify with your scenario like somebody else. So he actually used real live, stuff that he would get from work, but he didn't use the
uh-huh,
people's names. So you don't know who they are, but you can associate
okay.
yourself. So if that person felt like you, that's the kind of style that you are. These are the things you need to do
Mhm.
to try to help yourself out. So it was a good read. It's a small book too. It's not very long. So,
Oh,
but it was a good
yay.
read.
Okay. I like those.
Me too. But
I
I do
like
like
those.
Matthew McConaughey's book. We listened to that
Oh my
on the
gosh,
way
Green
back
Lights. I
from
so
over Christmas.
resonated with that so much because
You
I
just
came
blew
from an
my
s outlaw wild side too, and
yeah.
just
For me, it
resonated.
blew my mind that the depth of thinking that that man does and the things he'll
Oh,
go through
right.
to gain clarity. I mean, at one point in the book, and I'm not
All
going to
right,
spoil it, I
all right,
promise you.
all right.
Right, right. Yeah. The one point, I'm not going to spoil this by saying it, but at one point in the book, this man traveled overseas and went through jungles and mountains to gain clarity about a movie that he was going to be in. I mean, what?
Hold on. Do you realize that, like, I think that I'm gonna have to go on, like, this really long road trip,
Yeah.
and I know that
Yeah.
you don't like to drive.
Yeah. 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 It's just nuts. He was like, okay, you know what? I need to take an 18-month hiatus to clear my mind to make this decision. What?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well,
I
this has
told you
been,
I'm gonna drive up the California coast because 'cause I've never done that and I've always wanted to. I'm driving all the way up to Alaska.
yeah, nah, nah. It's great. It's great. It's great. Well, this has been fantastic. Like that worked.
I know.
I think worked really well. So,
I think it
first
did too,
edition in the
baby.
books.
I know! Episode 1! It's done!
All right, guys. So we're gonna cut this one at this, but we'll definitely be back. Like I said at the beginning of it, we're gonna have guests. We're gonna have everything. Like I plan to jam this thing up with all sorts of advice from other people.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be here every week. She's gonna be a
We wanna
co-host, so
hear
she's gonna be here.
stories, guys.
Yeah,
Email us
yeah, yeah, yeah.
questions.
Yep, absolutely, yep. So
You
that's what I was
wanna
gonna
say
say,
the email real
email.
fast.
Yeah, email us your stories, your questions, scenarios, whatever you can. We'll read them on air for you. We'll talk about them, elaborate on them. Even if there's a guest, we'll get them to elaborate on it too. So the email address is beardedSavageLLC@gmail.com. So just
And
shoot over your,
there's also a Facebook page called
yeah,
Savage
yeah,
Corner. So
yeah,
and
yeah,
and an
absolutely. Yeah.
Instagram too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So with Savage Corner, again, that's the name of the podcast, but you'll start to see that name pop up on social media as well too. We plan on keeping our channels, like we have them now, and then we'll do Savage Corner channels as well too. So, all right, all right. This has been
Peace,
awesome.
love, and
Yeah,
light, everybody.
I'm so excited about this. All right,
I
guys.
love
Well, we'll
you.
see
I'm
you guys
so
around.
proud.
You guys have a great day, night, whatever time of day it is. Thank you for tuning in to the Savage Corner.